Let's get cracking!
Welcome everybody here to your D2CL playoffs time. We're here in our second quarterfinals. A single elimination bracket is the way the playoffs are done for the D2CL, with a prize pool reaching up around $125,000 up for grabs. Obviously these games get very, very serious, and because we have one of the most serious teams in the entire competition, Cloud9, I say competition in the entire world. These guys are so damn serious, up against a bit more of the Larrikins, and of course it is going to be Fnatic will be their opponents. There is a default win going the way of Cloud9 for their first game due to the fact that Fnatic was late. They were tied up in their captain's draft competition. They arrived 30 to 40 minutes late into the game, and of course, instead of actually, the default win was given. But we're going to put all that aside and not think about that for now. We're going to think about our game right now. But before we actually do this, I want to say hello to a man who is broadcasting with me for, I believe it is the first time. I looked back through my own memory, and I couldn't find a time we'd ever cast together in the past, and it is Luminous, formerly of Dota Cinema, now the Good Studio, formerly of BTS. It's, welcome to the broadcast, Luminous.
Hey, I want to say that you're getting pretty old, so your memory may not serve you correctly, but yes, that is correct. This is the first cast, and I gotta say I'm very excited because Cloud9 and Fnatic, these two teams have been kind of butting heads recently in a lot of different tournaments, and this is, well, it should have been a best of 5, but now it's a little bit of a weird with Cloud9 getting the first victory.
Yeah, I don't want to read too much into it because as far as casters go, we're not the admins. We just sit here and we try and enjoy the games for what we get. But yeah, I am kind of sitting on that fence of questions will be asked later. As opposed to now. For now, though, let's actually look through. I just shut up our team roster as well, but let's go straight to the draft, man, because I'm pretty sure everyone wants to see it. Straight off the cusp here, Fnatic go for their classic kind of strat. It's the Wisp and Tunny together. It's been a while, though, since I've seen them pick it up in the first two. Normally, I've seen them in the second pick phase, where it will come up, because no one bans this really against them much anymore. But yeah, we have the split push potential of Fnatic, not to mention the ganking power.
Actually, a lot of teams do respect ban the Wisp straight out on the first pick. Teams like Sigma, I think Cloud9 used to ban the Wisp as well. So I'm actually surprised to see both of them let through. I think the Tiny could have been waited till maybe the second stage because you could still go for things like Wisp Morphling, which Fnatic really like to run, Wisp Sven, which is a big one as well. But they're gonna go with the Tiny, which is probably something that has the highest success rate. And meanwhile, Fnatic does take out Earthshaker, which is one of Pilot Eye's go-to support hero in dealing with these kind of massive initiations. So we'll see how Cloud9 is going to respond. So far, they get the Naga and Puck, fairly stable heroes, but nothing kind of give away their strategy so far yet.
Yeah, the first thing that I think of when I see these kind of like combination Naga and Puck together is just teamfight control. But I don't know if they want to try and capitalize on that. Like, if you want to, like, I don't know if we're looking at... Oh, Disruptor was already taken out. He would have been one of the first combination heroes I'd think about with it. But if you'd also try and pull in the Darkseer into that kind of combination, it would probably be pretty risky, though, up against a Tiny as well as Wisp, because that Darkseer could find himself popped straight away if he doesn't get a good start.
Yeah, lately Cloud9, when they first pick a Naga, they like to pair it with a Shadow Fiend, and that goes back to what you're talking about with the crowd control. You sleep, and then you have the Shadow Fiend walk in, you channel your ultimate, and you basically cancel sleep right when the ultimate gets popped off, and that's a ton of AoE damage, slow, damage reduction, and all that stuff. Also, Cloud9 likes to run that Mirana, so they will have the Mirana-Naga combo if they want to go for that route, so I think Cloud9 has a lot of options. And this Puck is not going to be a solo mid Puck that we see a lot of teams playing. I think this is going to be a Bone 7 Puck who's going to be playing in the offlane. It's a very tough assignment, but he is an amazing offlane player, so he should be able to handle it.
Is it really that easy for a Puck to escape, though, from a lane like a Tiny Wisp kind of combo? Knowing you have like the Avalanche has like a double stun on it, too, so even your phase shift timing is going to be really hard.
Yeah, it's a double stun. You got to keep in mind the tether movement speed is going to allow Tiny to move fast, and if he goes for a quick boots, that's going to make Puck's life very, very difficult. So he's mostly going to be playing stay away, get some experience, and then join in much later with the Blink Dagger. I'm curious to see what Envy and Sing Sing's going to be playing, because lately, is Sing Sing even a mid player anymore? Because he safe lanes a lot more, and I think Envy's been taking that mid lane a lot more than Sing Sing has.
I think they've just been mixing it up of late. I don't think there's too much to be read into it. It's just if the lane works that way and who's really more comfortable on the hero.
10 seconds remaining.
Because I've been noticing that one as well, where they've been switching themselves up, but I've seen other teams doing exactly the same thing. So, yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it, man.
Radiant team pick.
All right, so Fnatic's going to be picking up a Nyx Assassin. I believe this is going to be a offlane Nyx by Trixie, although we've seen today in Hani's Earthshaker game that these guys are not afraid to switch lanes up as well.
That's true. So I'm checking some stuff over on the side to make sure everything's actually working still. As for those who don't know, and who have only just tuned in, we had a couple of problems with Daily Motion earlier tonight, aka the entire site shat itself. But it looks like everything is up. I just did a double check of everything else, and everything's back to normal. Everything's back to normal. So hopefully we can enjoy a good game. But yeah, with the Nyx Assassin coming in now, like that in this game, I would normally say it's Hani, and that would mean then Tiny as well as Wisp would then have to go to a safe lane. But with this kind of matchup, I'm not quite sure if they really want to be trying to do that. Like, Fnatic's been doing everything random. Even earlier tonight, I know it was in Captain's Draft Tournament, but Earthshaker was a solo mid kind of role. It's something which Hani has been pushing. He was practicing a lot in his pub games as well. And yeah, I wouldn't put it past Fnatic to try anything. Even if that's a Nyx support, if that's Tiny Wisp in the middle lane, anything is possible with these guys. But Cloud9, they go for something a little bit more standard. So we get Eternal Envy's Morphling now arriving here in the pool.
I'm not sure if you ever had the chance to see that support meeple that Notail pulled out.
Yeah, man. I was watching that game live, dude. I was watching that game live. The second I saw the meepo, I realized too there was no way it would ever be played as a core. Because I had this huge long discussion with Notail about it, and he says it is shit. Right, like, hands down...
The support meepo is shit?
No,
Really?
no, not the support meepo. As a core hero, he's absolutely shit. Because no matter how you look at it, you transition yourself into the mid-game, you lose one meepo, and everything just goes ass over tit. But if it's just a support hero, you don't care about sacrificing him. It's like watching a VS do a swap into a stun and then she dies. You know she's done a job. But with a support meepo, everything worked nicely. Like, you come in, you do your Earthbind, sometimes you rely on your extra escape mechanisms and you stay alive, and you're all good to go. But yeah, I love the hero pickup in that scenario. In this game, though, I'm not feeling the magic. I'm not feeling the magic at all. If that Morphling got E-Blade, Puck's Control, yeah, it's not possible in this game. And they go for the Dazzle support instead, which is, rightly so, a great pickup.
Yeah, and Dazzle's actually going to complement this lineup quite well, who actually lacks a ton of armor. Wisp and Tiny, being your strength heroes, doesn't actually excel in armor growth throughout the late game, and Dazzle helps you there. And also, when the song comes down, if Dazzle's not caught in it, he could drop down Weave, and sure, Cloud9's positioning themselves, but they're losing armor, Fnatic's gaining armor, and that could be pretty brutal. In terms of the ability to deal with Shotgun, Dazzle can save an ally from, eventually, I might imagine it's going to be coming out from the Morphling. So it's a decent pickup. Is that enough to deal with the insane crowd control that Cloud9 has? I'm not too sure.
The Dazzle for me is more of a ganker. It's the toss Wisp in to go directly to the heal burst damage. Like, that's...
Okay.
That's all I'm feeling right now. And if you have like a Nyx Assassin on top of that one too, like, you'll have your initial damage, and then you can pick off anybody straight away. And that's what I think Fnatic's trying to do with this kind of combination. And it's also security. Like, there's nothing really that you're going to risk when you pick up a Dazzle. The only risky kind of thing would be is if you put Dazzle as like a mid-solo, and then you're looking at a great transition. I know that's kind of like a America thing to do, but yeah, in this case, like, Fnatic, they're just going for safety. This is game number 1. They're 1 game behind. They need to level up this series right now just so they can feel confident going into the next game.
Okay, so I'm looking at my stream right now for the... it's all fine for me. I'm not sure if it's working for you. Looks like coming back.
What's up? What's up?
The Daily Motion.
Yeah,
it's been going on and off for me. I don't know if it's just me or...
It's not... I don't know if it's just you or not. I was just told the live stream, in fact, just went down and then came back up again for no apparent reason. We've actually lost no frames into the intake server. So from this end, from the Join Dota studio, everything's fine. From the Daily Motion side of things, they could be freaking themselves out.
Well, they're going to be missing a lot of action, or at least the Dota fans who does not have the ticket is missing a lot of action, because this is going to be a good match. Lycan as well as Chen's getting taken out. I'm surprised that Chen gets banned out, because I guess technically Naga could be played as a core, but every time the Cloud9 has picked Naga, it's always been a support, so...
It's actually kind of funny you mentioned that, though, because it was changed around recently. I know Hani was one of the ones that was leading the charge for the Naga mid.
That is true.
And there was another team, I don't know if it was actually it was Team Liquid, because TC was doing it too.
Well, did he do the mid as well, or was it a safe lane?
No, it was actually a mid. It was a mid. It was in the TKO tournament. He did mid solo.
Just happened, I think, yesterday, or was it today?
Yeah, it was just yesterday.
All right, we're gonna see Invoker. So I believe this is a Sing Sing Invoker, although Envy does play both of the heroes. I haven't seen Sing Sing play Morphling yet, so I imagine it's gonna be a mid Morphling, safe lane Invoker. Obviously, those two could definitely swap around.
Yeah, just keep the enemy on the toes. That's what it's all about. But in this game too, I'm wondering too if Fnatic try and do the same thing. Like, you got Tiny as well as Wisp. We know Fnatic love running dual lanes in the mid, especially with the Wisp kind of combo. With that early bottle, they're not really going to fear too much. And yeah, there's your AM coming in. Now, Era is going to take up the Tiny, and Harney's going to take the anti-mage. So this will force Nyx Assassin to the off lane, which means then they can run the AM and Dazzle as the safe lane. And then Tiny and Wisp can move in towards the mid.
Okay. I mean, they definitely could run AM and Dazzle mid lane as well. Not exactly the strong lane, but I've seen Hani go mid with some of the greediest solo mids. I've seen him solo mid Sven the other day, solo mid Centaur, so AM's not that good.
It's an old Waga strat. I don't know if you remember, like, it must have been about a year and a half ago, back when Waga was playing in a team called Scorner, and they would run CM as well as anti-mage.
It's not too bad.
As a dual lane mid. Because it's just a frostbite to hold him in, you burn off the mana, and then you got no escape mechanisms. And Morphling is going to be sitting there, if he is going to be the mid-solo, with basically no mana to waveform out. You may be onto something, man.
I mean, I think basically Morphling and Invoker are such weak early game laner, I'm talking about like level 1 and 2, that you could definitely get away with something like this, but we'll see. The good thing about running a Wisp mid is that if you get the quick bottle, his rune control and the fact that he could use regen for 2 heroes is actually pretty insane, and I think that's the path they're going to take. You can see that No-Tail is actually saving up 500 gold. He is definitely going for that quick bottle.
Yeah, this is him every time, man. Like, the beautiful thing about watching a No-Tail Wisp, it's one of the things to which I noticed a lot when I saw like these Tinies being played down in China, is they put so much money into the back of a Tiny just to build him up, but with the No-Tail buff up, they skip items, like almost to a point where Era goes straight into Aghanim Scepter before he even finishes up any major attack speed item, because he knows No-Tail is going to be right behind him, just charging him up and pushing it out. So it's, yeah, man, I always love watching this combination together. How effective it's going to be, that's going to be a completely different question, because right now we're looking at Eternal Envy on the Morphling, Sing Sing on the Invoker, and they are actually going to keep Sing Sing on that bottom lane. So it'll be Morphling going in towards the middle lane up against the Tiny Wisp combo. And they're going to keep the AM safe on top.
Yeah, so I think AM is going to do just fine in this lane against Bone 7, who I think he just orbed to place down a couple wards. He's actually going to miss his block, I imagine. No, he's going to get there in time. Yeah, this puck's going to have a very tough time. Highlight that, maybe he's going to even start at the top lane to give him a little bit of assistance. No, just passing a little bit of wards.
Man, Harney's blades look so amazing. I think I've actually found also the key to the feeding of Anti-Mage. It's like he's taken the McDonald's archers, separated the two of them, and turned them blue.
You like this one? I like the one that has like lightning sparks on it. I'm not sure if you've seen that one.
I haven't seen that one. It actually sparks lightning.
I think it just constantly have lightning on it.
See, now that can't work, man, because like he's creating lightning out of what, nothing? Or is it just the friction of how many times
how do you think mana burn happens?
Well,
it's from the lightning.
So you burn him with lightning? I suppose that can work. Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, anyway, back to our lanes. Envy. Talk about being aggressive. Waveforms into Era. He wants to do as much damage as he possibly can before No-Tail's able to get that bottle up and running. But he's not, like, there's 3-for-0 up against a 2-for-1 right now. For all of his aggression, I'm not seeing it translate into high CS here. And he won't be able to keep up at the end of the day. I've seen it time and time again, man. This is the lane that destroyed Korea.
It depends if Envy is going to be bottle crowing. If you ever watch his stream, he bottle crows nonstop to the point that he takes the courier away from the team. So that can't happen.
Why can't he go Pinoy then? Why can't Envy go Pinoy?
I mean, I think he is going to go Pinoy. Let's see. He's almost at his bottle. But the problem is No-Tail's going to be annoying just like that. Just throwing balls in his face. He's going to be taking all the runes away from him. No-Tail got to be careful though.
See, No-Tail does this on purpose. This is something where you got to watch the movement of No-Tail. Now he'll tether very rarely to Era, until he's dropped down about half of his life points. And then the rest of the time, he'll just spam his balls out, do as much harassment to the enemy hero in the middle lane without touching the creep wave, which then buys Era the space to farm up, and then Era will come in, do the same thing. They basically just tag team who takes the damage, who dishes out the damage, and then they just bottle and tether up together.
Well, there's a haste rune and no tails. CCC's Bone 7. Bone 7 actually give up the first play here. The balls are doing a ton of damage. Orb's gonna get forced out. He's going to the Ancients, but the dragons are going on him, and he's gonna get first blood to the dragons. Alright.
Nothing like a dragon first blood on that one. But that works fine. That works fine. Like, we get Puck have to be sent back to base. He TP's back up to the top lane. But Wisp, he stole the haste rune, but he's back in here with the bottle. So this is when Era moves forward to dish out some damage. Yep, toss it up. They can at least give him the mana back. They frostbite him up, and this is exactly what Fnatic want. They're wasting abilities here of C9. They're wasting the mana of them. And then Notal just bottles Era as well as himself straight back up again. They fight all over again.
Yeah, I would be careful if I was Pylite died, because they definitely have the initiation power, but no, they're going to just keep on tossing creeps. Get back, Envy.
One lane we haven't talked about is still this off lane. Well, we obviously keep our eyes very closely on mid because it's where kill potential is there. But Trixie on this off lane, he's found 2.5 levels, but Aui's been doing a really good job of keeping him off this lane. It's a 0 for 0 Nyx Assassin up against the 17 for 7 Quas Wex Invoker.
Yeah, he's got to be very careful. Now with phase boot up on Invoker, they could easily just walk up Cold Snap, and without Spike Carapace, Nyx Assassin could easily go down. With that said, he does have that high HP base regen, a stout shield, so he can tank it up. But I imagine a kill attempt is going to come out once Aoi is going to pick up his boots, and I imagine they're going to go on Trixie then.
Yeah. And Envy, be careful. Era, Avalanche, Pylai so low. The attack up the hill will miss from Notal. And he's out of spirits, so they don't have the damage to finish the job. But after that fight, Notal brings the bottle back in again, and we'll see Era back up to full life and full mana all over again.
Man, Bottle Crow's twice as effective when you can heal 2 people. This is not too fair, and the courier is going to come with boots of speed on Pylai Dai. It looks like Pylai Dai is going to continue to get himself a little bit of level advantage on this Ancients. Or, excuse me, the neutrals. But Bone 7 does deny the runes. That's pretty big for the team. Yeah,
you actually saw the movement coming out from Ali 2000. This is exactly what C9 have to do. They realize the power of the Wisp. They want to have the courier being completely and utterly clogged up by the middle lane Wisp. That's the goal right now of C9, and they did it successfully. 4-minute rune gets denied. The 2-minute rune, like, it was a haste rune, but it was taken before the bottle actually arrived for Notal. So they're not finding the huge advantages.
But I mean, the rune gets denied, but Toby, if you look at the courier, it's already going back, already at the base with the bottle on it. So I don't think they even care about these runes as much as a good job that Cloud9 is doing. They are going to be dealing with, you know, the Bottle Crow, and the quoting for Era is he gets to do this. Just another cheap toss onto Era, or sorry, onto Envy, and Envy is going to have a tough time keeping up with this region. Was he really supposed to keep sending the bottle back and forward? He won't be able to keep up with the burst damage, and because he's sitting at half life, he's still very concerned about what could happen at this mid lane. Yep.
And every time he puts another point up at his strength, he takes away his power inside the lane to get these last hits. We got a 14-3 up against a 19-5 Morphling in the middle lane, which actually is a hell of a lot better than I thought he would have had.
Yeah, I mean, Morphling, he's been using a lot of waveform, not only for the harass, but also for the CS, so he's doing a fine job, and seems like the stacking is coming, and Envy's going to actually clear this nice little camp here that Crystal Maiden stacked for him. No, he's stacking it again. All right, I think they're going to just use a big waveform or two to clear it out a little bit later on.
Yeah, maybe once that cracks level 4, and once it's got enough mana, he can in fact do that while having his escape mechanism in the mid. As he comes back in the middle lane, waveforms up right on top of Era. Oh, the mana's coming back in again, but Envy, he starts off with the strength. More Pylai and Bone 7 came in. Maybe this was bait. Envy, he's low on life, but the strength is keeping him alive. No tell. There was no misses up that hill. So Crystal Maiden will claim the first blood here in the mid. I don't know if intentional feed or not, but it works for C9. First blood goes their way.
Yeah, nobody expects a level 2 Puck smoke gank. It was like the Trojan horse coming out from the top lane, but it looks like they're gonna go again. Bone 7.
They got him!
The toss is gonna get him, so a little bit of rebuttal kill here for Fnatic. Not too bad.
Oh man, that's that avalanche we were talking about during the drafting stage. How easy is it to try and survive up against an avalanche like that? You put the orb out, the avalanche first connects, and then there's no way out. You waste your orb, you're caught flat in your heels. And there's just nowhere to go. On Pylite Eye and Bone 7 now. Alhani staying up here on the top lane, but Frostbitten up. He'll be okay to blink himself back past the tower. But Fly bailed on him very early then. He wasn't sticking around to give him a shallow grave.
Yeah, it looks like the Fnatic mid lane is going to get a DD rune. All of them are coming up top, and I think that tier 1 tower is going to be dead. There's no glyph available at C9, and Puck is not near the levels where he needs to be to stop this push. Fnatic, though, they turn back and they go back mid.
Yep. Trixie, he gets to be the man to battle up against Morphling. Well, if the top gank doesn't work when there's an Observer Ward, yeah, that gank is never really going to work without good smoking. But man, Sing Sing is still free farming down here on the bottom lane. I know we're comparing the farm of what was going to be an anti-mage into a Battle Fury up against an Invoker, but still, Sing Sing is about to finish up a hand of minus about 7 minutes into this game, and he's looking very, very strong. I don't see Fnatic being able to push out anything yet, especially when you got such high levels up in Quas and Wex coming for Sing Sing. As long as he has a TP scroll on him, which he does, Fnatic can't force down towers. It's like Fnatic have to wait longer and longer. Wait for the Battle Fury, wait for the Aghanims with the Yasha on Era before they even can attempt to get kills.
Yeah, speaking for the Midas, it always interests me how some players like to go for a small core item like Phase Boot on Sing Sing first before rushing the Midas. And then some player likes to go straight for it. Obviously, the earlier you get it, the more effective it is, but the possibility of dying before that is greater as well. So I think for Envy, he also liked to pick up a small item first before going for a hand of Midas. And I think he will go for one this game, judging how he likes to do it every time that he plays solo mid lately.
Well, one thing I didn't take into account, man. They say you can't force fights, you can't force towers, but with the toss from Era, the tower's not looking too healthy in mid, man. And now he does it again. Not only does he hit on Envy, but he also hits on the tower just by throwing it.
Yep. I think level 4 toss is 100 damage.
Oh, Notel, he's dead. Real trouble. There's an Invis room which he was coming up to pick up, and now Era avalanches through. Bone 7 still going to get tossed up, but they can't see him. The Invis room was up. Nyx Assassin also dying in the meantime to Almy 2000, but they've managed to hold Era in position. Orbing up there, they jaunt up to try and keep this going with the waveform. Pylite die. Era went east and west. Back over to Fly and back over to the heels, so now Harney coming in. He's got Mana Void available, and with the spill damage over towards Eternal Envy, they've got one, but there's no potential for a second kill. There was one charges over on Morphling, and he had more than enough to survive.
Just showing off the versatility of toss there, as Dazzle was no in position to chase. Suddenly a Dazzle coming out of nowhere and gets tossed in. I do want to say that Envy just show off the power of the new bottle change, where you could bottle your teammates without giving them the bottle. He was able to bottle the Puck, and Puck was able to lay out Orb to chase a Tiny. Obviously, it didn't matter at all, and they even lost a hero for it, but, you know, the new bottle, you don't have to drop it now. Pretty good stuff.
The small changes, the easier changes.
Yep.
Because how many players do you know that would try and mic or bottle drop during the middle of a team fight?
I'm sure the Pinoids have done it in the past.
I thought Bulba would have done it in the past, because everything starts with Bulba.
That's true too. So we're talking about Sing Sing's Hand of Midas. He's not going for it. It's going to be a very, very quick 4-staff. So this Invoker, already level A with, you know, EMP Tornado online with Phase and 4-staff, he's going to be very mobile. And I think that's exactly what you need against a team that has Tether, Toss, and all that kind of stuff.
Is it really going to be enough though? Because even with the 4-staff, the Toss unit's still going to follow him down. Yes,
I think it depends whether EMP is... perhaps it's just making sure that EMP lands. If your EMP Tornado this team, what do they actually do? Tiny's complete out of mana after a single EMP, and that same goes for heroes like Nyx Assassin and even Dazzle and Wisp.
Yeah, if Notel has like high 1 charges and bottles, then he should be okay. But either way, by the way, Notel and Era just farmed up what looked to be like a double, maybe even a triple stack. So Notel is now currently sitting at 28 points away from the relocate, which is a factor which we haven't seen come into play yet, obviously, without that ultimate of Wisp. But this movement on top lane from like Fly and Harney, this is so much more dangerous when you only send Bone 7 and Pylite to defend this. Level 6 is now actually up for Notel.
Yeah, they gotta be extremely, extremely careful. Now, speaking of those stacks, in C9, in jungle, looks like AUI has stacked the big camp a couple times, and we've been seeing, you know, the Crystal Maiden's been stacking for Envy as well. So Cloud9 is actually farming fairly quickly, even though the lead chart seems to be Fnatic advantage with AM up there as well as a Tiny. And AM is going to be on his way to probably like a 13-14 minute battle fury.
You know what I was talking about for Era, man? You know how he likes to rush it?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just sitting there as a casual point booster for now and he goes into the Yasha after this or not. But I'm feeling it from Era right now.
It's just so hilarious. Every time I look at him, he's just tossing a creep to Envy. Get back, man. Get back.
Well, Envy's still done a pretty damn good job, man. He's managed to crack up 50 CS within 11 minutes, which for me, without a death, is impressive enough. Top lane, Hani, there's real trouble up here. The point's going on Aoi, but Aoi's still got his ultimate available, and he's going to do it. He puts him to sleep for now. At the same time as Notel and Era, they've actually relocated into this fight. They were held in by the Dream Call. EMP, there's your toss-up. Aoi 2000. Notel chases him out, and then the relocate pulls him out. Flies Shallow Grave, making this rather difficult and finally finish the job. But Era, 4-staff down. Sing Sing into the tornado. He's keeping his distance from this Tiny. There's a toss maybe to get the last hit in the tower. He just go for Pilot Eye. Morphling waveforms in. Tiny's already got the kill on the Crystal Maiden. So it's a 2-for-1 trade up on this top lane at the moment. The Spirit Balls really getting to Sing Sing. Hardy, the Mana Void. It wasn't enough damage to kill off the Invoker. And now Bone 7 returns the engagement. The Coil not available, but he had enough with the Rift as well as the Orb to pick off the retreating Wisp. While Hardy will TP himself out in the tree line. He's done his job. He's got a little bit more farm and it's about to finish up his Battle Fury. But a bit of a mess underneath the tier 1 tower there for Fnatic when that Naga sleep went.
Yeah, I think that was a big winner for Fnatic, even though both the true cores never really die. I'm speaking for Morphling as well as Anti-Mage. I think Anti-Mage was there to actually get a lot of the assist goal. He was able to farm more. It looks like he's going to rotate up top. Yeah, Bone 7's going to be in huge trouble. He goes down. I think the tier 1 tower is going to go down as well. And what is C9 getting in return? I don't think they're getting anything. So Fnatic victory, small, but victories here and there.
That for me is a big victory. Like, because there's no one, as you said, there's nothing that C9's getting in return. There's no farm being gained. Aoi 2000 just arrived on the bottom lane, which was unattended. Morphling was trying to farm up middle lane, but Era comes straight back into that, and he's 700 gold away from Aghanim Scepter this early on. So it's a straight rush up for him. The tower goes down. You lose a couple of supports here or there, but that's okay. But with that burst of gold, we're now looking at also a Battle Fury coming out from Anti-Mage in 700 gold. These key items are arriving so quickly.
I mean, it goes back to what you talked about with the Tiny trying to rush the Ags. If you guys are trying to do this at home in your pub games, don't do it. Because, like Toby said, Notel is going to be on Era's back with that overcharge, giving him the attack speed. The Tether gives him movement
speed. Watch bottom lane, man. Trixie's coming in. He's going to go for the stun. The Tether is available to come in and try and slow down Aoi. And there she is. With the ball damage, denial on the tower from Nyx Assassin, and they kill off Aoi 2000.
That's messed up. Well,
that I thought was like, I was watching him moving down. There's actually no vision from Cloud9 on this bottom lane at all, so they couldn't see that coming in. We've got observer wards from Cloud9 watching all rotations up on the top area, on the top lane area, but there's nothing that was watching that Wisp coming in. He wasn't expecting the ball damage to come out. There's also 4 levels up on the balls too, and then Nyx Assassin. It was a basic TP into a stun. I thought Aoi would have been a little bit more defensive.
Yeah, I'm surprised he got caught by that. And the cool thing about Era now, going back to his item set, because he's going for this build, he's so tanky. He's got 1400 health, and that's without the Ogre Club being on top of him. How did they actually kill the Tiny with the armor being granted by Fly, as well as the Grave, and the fact that there's this overcharge preventing damage? How do you actually stop this Rockman?
I don't know, man. And this is all happening without the crackly exterior either.
Sure.
So he's going to get bigger. He's going to get fatter. The Aghanims is coming out in the courier. So we have ourselves a 15-minute Aghanim Scepter.
Actually, Bone 7 does have a quick Blink Dagger. I mean, he's got a tough lane assignment. Dying to the Dragon once.
He's going to try and gank on Era, though, but they've got to get through almost 1,700 life points and Notel backing him up. So Bone 7 throws down the orb. Now they're keeping the distance. Now the move in, there's already your charge up, and Era, he gets the heal from Fly, which also is shared over from Notel. Wonderful tornado by Sing Sing. Notel getting knocked back in mid-flight. And Bone 7, whoa, dude, face shift. Okay. Going a little bit balls deep, and there is Remnants. I don't know if you can see this right now, but the memorial to Notel has come down.
And they drop a war on top of that. Oh. I guess that's the plan. You don't kill the Tiny, you kill everybody else. And they were able to burst down the Dazzle and the Wisp just fine, I guess.
This is actually like remind you of something like Rome Total War. I don't know if you ever got to play that game, but if there was an epic battle or a noble sacrifice that happened, then there would be a monument erected just as memory of what happened. This kind of feels like it right now. Like, I don't know if I could even like draw a little statue right now of like this is the memory of Wisp.
I'm not sure if Wisp is epic enough as a character to have that. He looks like, you know, just the flying ball with a face on it, you know?
Question.
I guess if like a Sven died or something.
Do we actually like have like these weird paradox kind of things? Like what happens when Wisp walks in next to Wisp?
Holy shit. Like, I think Dota was explode.
Universe will explode.
Actually, I've definitely played a game where it's 5v5 Wisp, and you just have balls flying everywhere. It's pretty amazing stuff.
Oh, that could actually cause some real problems later on in the game. I don't know if players would get a little bit confused during the middle of the fight. They just see a Wisp in the middle of nowhere. It just like jumps into attack. Dream Coil now wasted. Either way, 7-6 on the board. Overall, with all these towers going down, we should probably just check out the overall advantage. 1.2k for experience goes the way of Fnatic, when actually gold comes back the way of C9. C9, of course, are up by 1 extra tower, which is giving them the 600 gold advantage right now. But overall, it kind of feels negligible. It's almost like the key items are the primary things. Like Harney's got his Battle Fury done. He's already got 1k gold up his sleeve too. Maybe even a straight up BKB is going to be his choice. We got what else we got? Wisp. He's not going into the mech. It actually looks like he's going into a Vladimir's offering. Maybe not straight away, but he'll definitely be considering it as early on, because he got the heal from Fly. I suppose will make up for the lack of the mech.
Yeah, as you were talking about the goal, I saw Eric just cleaned up a 3 or 4 stack Ancients with his now finished Acceptor. So that gold graph is going to be heavily in the favor of Fnatic unless they could actually gank this anti-mage non-stop. And the problem is, how do you actually keep track of this anti-mage? Between Blink and, you know, the fact that he could clear through the creep wave so quickly, he's going to just be everywhere.
Yeah. I think the ultimate thing is you can't keep track of him, but you can easily kill a Fly. The Observer is seen perfectly around the corner, which is why this is really possible. We got the Shadow Grave off. It's just going to waste a little bit more time. Nothing more than that. He gets 1 extra poison over on Eternal Envy.
That's actually good, though. The fact that they wasted time, they relocated for the mid-tier 1 tower, just straight up backdoor it. Tiny, good hero. And I think they're looking to have Roshan. At least it opens up a possibility of getting Roshan a little bit later on.
With the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane down first, then yeah, I'll go for that. Because Trixie was pushing that out with a catapult. Should also note, too, that he has a Blink Dagger up and running. So we've got to look for his stun. Actually, no, you're right, man. They're not even going to go for the tier 1 tower. They go straight in for Roshan.
Yeah, I mean...
And it's anti-mage that gets the Vladimirs. Kind of feels slightly unnecessary when you got No-Tail there.
Well, I guess No-Tail, I mean, sure he could finish it eventually, but maybe that's the item they want to have it right now, right? Like, it just helps them to fight more and get more towers. So maybe it's more of a timing push kind of item choice. But in any case, they do have it. The Aegis now goes on the Tiny, and I'm feeling really scared for Cloud9. Envy, no, is doing a very good job. You can see the creep wave is pushing very far up top, so that's going to force at least 1 or 2 Fnatic here to get there before they want to do anything else.
But is Envy going to get to a point where he's able to dish out enough damage? Like, he's going Lincoln Sphere as his first item right now. Like, it's great he's pushing out towers, it's great he's pulling in farm, but what is he technically bringing to the team fight apart from immunity from the first ability that strikes him?
I think if Envy has the game exactly the way that he wants it, there will never be a team fight. Like, you just want to just push a lane, and I think trading farm against AM is never a good choice. But at this moment in time, when there's a Vlad's up and an Aegis up on the Tiny, there is no way that C9 could take a 5v5 and come out unscathed. So for them, they just want to delay, and having things like Song and EMP Tornado is good for that, because you don't have mana, you can't push. And if you relocate, there's Song to back things up. So I think Cloud9 has the roster to do what it takes to kind of hold down this mid game, and it's up to Envy to split push, and I think he's doing an okay job at that.
Yeah, he's not doing a bad job. We kind of also got to remember a little bit later in the game, like, he's going to turn the Anti-Mage against the rest of his team.
Yes, with the Replicate.
Yeah, as well as Anti-Mage himself. Like, Anti-Mage doesn't really have a great mana pool to start with. So, I kind of want to watch what happens with that Replica during the team fights. No-Tail swipes an Invis rune. He doesn't have a tether available, so he can't just run himself away. He has to almost use it. Tornado! Oh, is he going to die from the fall? No! 40 life points. He got the 1 charges off. So he's just able to survive their No-Tail.
That's pretty good stuff. Top lane, the relocate is going to come through. Bone 7, the relocate wasn't even here, and he is dead, but this tower is not running anywhere. So this tower is going to go down.
Toss him, Ira. Toss him. He doesn't even need to. How quickly does that damage come out? Like, I talk about the power of Era when he doesn't have any items. He's just got a Wisp buffing him up. Oh, they shouldn't have left him alone here. Cold Snap, Envy, they really want to capitalize on this one. And Trixie, we try to get the stun off. The Agassi model will at least trigger here. A Trixie spike, Carapace, a little bit more space. Era back into the Avalanche, and look at the cleave! He almost killed off Eternal Envy while attacking onto Pylite Die. Now he will go for Envy. The toss is still on cooldown. Beats one into Sing Sing, throws out the toss, but Sing Sing, he turns to try and fight again. A quick Cold Snap, delaying up the engagement, and Era will back up. Ends up being a 1-for-1 trade. Not really the most favorable for Fnatic, even if they do take that tier 2 tower on top.
They took the Aegis as well, so Cloud9 definitely got a little bit more out of that. That tier 2 was dead, I think, regardless of what's happening. But,
yeah,
you know, all the while, sure, you know, Fnatic lost 1 or 2 heroes, but look at Hani, like, he hasn't even joined the fray aside from that one tier 1 fight up top. So I think Fnatic is still very much so in control of this game.
Yeah, Hani's tended to miss a passive, or at least towards heroes. Against neutral creeps, he's their like sworn enemy. But this is gonna be like double Manta style. This is I want to say like a 25-minute timing push. Once these tier 2 towers are down, and you get the Mana style over on Hani, you get a Mana style over on Tiny, which he also can complete right now. It's just a straight walk up the hill. Actually, what did he just... Yeah, it is the Mana Style being purchased. I thought for a moment he picked up something else when I saw the Lincoln Sphere appear on the side. But this can just be the battle of the illusions that bring down tower after tower. And there's going to be little you can do against it. And then you've got your heal on top of that too. Oi.
I think if you could pick off the Invoker, that would be pretty good. But EMP Tornado is still very annoying. Like, that could damage the illusion quite so. Nova could slow it down. I'm not too sure. I think you're right. Maybe they wait for the next Aegis, and then they go. But I think if Cloud9 loses 1 or 2 heroes without buyback, the racks could just go down.
See, I'm more worried about them using the EMP Tornado. You use that on illusions, and then they're going to just jump in straight after that. Like, EMP Tornado is down, and you've lost your major controller over on the Tiny. The Nyx has a Blink Dagger and what I assume is going to be Necro Books, but if that's a Dagon, you may get your wish for the quick pickoffs. And then everyone else just keeps pushing in, and then you can dive in deep. Yeah. They were really wanting to go on him then too.
I'm sure Era wanted to go on them too with a double damage.
He doesn't want to fight this. He doesn't want to fight this. They're going to relocate him out. They're going to relocate him out, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Pull him in, pull him out. So then the bottom lane is actually where they're going to leave Era. No-Tail should just disjoint this, because even if No-Tail dies right now, they take the bottom tower. No-Tail, turn it off. Turn it off, No-Tail. There you go. Take it for the team, man.
I mean, they get a tier 2 out of that one too, so I think C9's going to try to get the tier 2 on top.
Fnatic will push in for the tier 3. They've still got the DD rune over on Era, and Mana Star's up on him. Why not just crack it? Yep, there goes your mana. Push it up, try and force them to TP back. The tier 2 tower will go down. They're all back in time.
So at the end of the day, that was actually a pretty good trade for C9. They traded tier 2 and got a Wisp for free. And they lost like 100 points in tier 3. Yeah, that's actually pretty good, considering the situation that they're in.
But is it really that great for this game to keep going later and later? Like, I know now we see Sing Sing with level 3 Necro Books. That's obviously a great thing. You got Side Device coming the way of Puck. But approaching this mid-game, Fnatic, in my mind, feels a lot stronger. Like, Hani is already in a position. He's 216 CS in 24 minutes, man. As far as farm goes, I don't think anyone's really going to be contesting Hani and saying, oh, you're hitting the game too late here. And then you got a Tiny who's got 2100 gold on him already after finishing up the Manta style. So with this, we could even be looking at a very quick AC coming out from Fnatic. I'm just feeling like Fnatic have this in, like, they have this one at the end of the mid game.
I would agree
game
for
you
the
won't
next
even reach.
10 minutes. Like you were talking about getting the the next 5-10 minutes. If Fnatic push, they definitely could win this game. But let's not forget about the possibility of 2 Hex Spires coming out from Cloud9. Sing Sing's got the farm, so if he wants to pick up a Hex a little bit later on, he's gonna have the 4-staff Hex initiation. Puck's already got an ultimate orb, so he's almost halfway there. And you can't forget about the Morphling. And I guess Naga, if he ever gets a Diffusal Blade, he becomes a thing as well. So I think if this game ends in the next 10 minutes, I think Fnatic definitely clinches it. But if it goes about 40, 50 minutes, who knows what's going to happen, because Cloud9 definitely have the potential of some insane late game heroes.
I don't know if you just saw what happened then. It was the most subtlest thing in the world, but it was one ping that came out from Fnatic, and it was on the tier 3 tower in the bottom lane. The creep wave, the creep wave almost ended. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling right now, man. Like, it's just a straight relocate in. This is why, like, Trixie's hanging on this bottom lane, waiting for someone to come up. But C9's kept most of the team over inside the Dire Side jungle for now. But the rest of Fnatic are just farming up the Radiant jungle. That's where Harney's getting his money. And they keep the bottom lane pressured out. So when they look... Oh, Trixie! Relocate's coming! Oh, they were really relying... They were really relying on their Spy Carapace to trigger on the orb when he wasn't phase shifted.
Amos on the mid lane right now. He's getting his mana burn. Here comes the EMP Tornado. Is he going to get his mana drained? He's trying to blink out. There's no mana on Hani. And Hani's going to go down. So C9 gets a freebie as Blink Initiate from the anti-mage just sealed his death.
That's a beautiful pick off for C9. But what can they get from this? This has to go into a tower. Basically, they've got to be pushing up the middle lane. They've got 4 heroes here in the mid, ready to force down this mid tower, while Bone7 seems to be the solo defender of the bottom lane up against Trixie. He's just keeping that continuous pressure in there.
Yeah, they should be able to siege this just fine. There is no relocate, so they shouldn't be able to worry about that. They have the Song backup, so if things gets really nasty, they could just Song and run back. So it's a free tier 2 tower that Fnatic should not have given up, considering that they were very much still in the lead. And you got to keep in mind that Roshan's coming back very soon. Any type of map control that you can get right now is a big deal for the team.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Would you believe the first bit of damage that's dealt to a Fnatic tower is actually done by an illusion? When I was waiting for Fnatic to do that to Cloud9.
Oh, I see.
Relocate's still on cooldown for no tower right now, or else I was waiting for Era to go in through the top. And Era, surprisingly, actually going in for tankability. Like, and not through armor.
I think that's actually a very interesting choice, but a good one at that. Because he knows in the front line, as long as he's being menacing, they have to target the Tiny. He is attacking at 400 range with his Acceptor.
Support's coming in. 4-star Tornado. No tell. Is he going to relocate to save Era now, or does he even need to? He is waiting it out. Relocate's not being used yet. No-Tail just sitting on the sidelines. Now he's going to come in. They go for the avalanche toss. Quick heal up, and No-Tail with a mech charge. He had to take the damage first. And then they can turn No-Tail. Whoa, be careful killing off those Necro books. But Fnatic, they want to try and turn and fight here. Naga throws the sleep out. Sing Sing, he can TP. He's going to force up and run himself away while Owie will be the man TPing out. Now, Blink Dagger. I thought Trixie might have a crack, but really Sing Sing's too far away and too fast.
Whew, that was a teamfight dodge for C9. They were going to lose that teamfight with all of Invoker's ability down. And they basically threw a lot out. And that goes back to the point of getting a Reaver on the Tiny. You saw, like, it basically was a 4v1, 5v1. And Tiny went down to about half HP before the mech came from the Wisp. And then they had no chance of killing him. Imagine that's a heart. How do you ever kill this person? And that's not all, because you also have to deal with the anti-mage, who's going to be sniping on the back line. Looks like Relocate's going to come through on top. AI 2000
boom.
Down.
When you got someone like Trixie doing that kind of scouting for you, and has the level of control of just a straight-up sign, you know there's no Naga sleep. It's like the easiest kill in the world. And it pulls Hani back to exactly where he wants to be. It's back into the farming again. Mr. 3.6k gold. This is such a fat AM. I really don't understand how C9 is supposed to be winning any kind of fights. I know you said that before, like Cloud9, they just evade every engagement they possibly can. Like Envy finally gets his first killing item. He's about to go pick up his E-Blade. But the strength which is on both Anti-Mage as well as over on Tiny, the E-Blade will basically... It's gonna be like duck off a water's back. That doesn't work that way. Fly! Okay, that's who we could do it to.
Yes,
that's who we could do it to.
Yep. I just like, oh, I'm at the halfway across the map with no teammate backing me up. Let's wave up into the fog and see what I find.
You had no vision too. It was just the replica jump back out, which was his safety net.
Yeah, that was fine. And it looks like they're gonna go for again. I'm pretty impressed with C9's play this game because with the anti-mage, with the Tiny, they're so far, but looks like C9's the one that's actually taking the initiative. They're going on the offense. You can see that Sing Sing's always looking for that EMP Tornado to start a fight. But the problem is, Fnatic is just so damn tanky.
And they're going to find an opening in a moment. Have they got Dust? Have they got Reveal? Have they got something? They got Dust over on Sing Sing. They got Trixie hexed up. They are keeping Fnatic fighting as 4. Only 4 heroes across the map. Their Observers and Sentry Wards were down too. Their Sentry Ward was out of range though, so they didn't actually see the Nyx Assassin moving in then. It was just a smoke break.
And they had a gem on Bone, so he just cleared. And now they're gonna get the little bit of D-ward action as well. And Roshan is alive, so if C9 gets this Roshan, that's a pretty big deal.
They're gonna lose their top racks if they try it.
Oh, that's true.
Because we cannot forget the Wisp relocate with Tiny. We cannot forget it. Hani pops the Mana Style, pushes them out, and that's why they're trying to kill off the heroes. No-Tel, he's down on bottom lane. Oh! Dreamcall and Tornado in completely the wrong position. No-Tel, he's got relocate to get himself out this one, but he won't want to use it. He just wants to waste their time again. Envy's come back to the top lane to defend it, but that was definitely a bit of miss-abilities.
I mean, I want to say that's okay for Fnatic because Roshan is still alive. Like you said, Hani did an excellent job of pushing up the top lane, so Envy's forced to go back. But Envy's got the replicate, so he could come back instantly if they want to force a Roshan fight. This game is actually really tense right now.
Man, all I want to say is right now for everyone who is tuning in, if you're having troubles, the VODs will be available later over on our channel. Because this is going to be one of these games, man, which I think, even though we've only had 23 kills in 31 minutes, the end of this game and just the build-up to it has been so intense. And with Envy, is there going to be a relocate? Oh, the stun ballsed up by Trixie. He triggered the Lincoln Sphere with the Vendetta, and now they come in. Naga pops the sleep off. Really not sure about this, but the Wisp relocate again. It's like deja vu of the top fight that happened around the 10-minute mark. But this time around, C9 pull out before anybody gets wet.
And the relocate's gone back, so if C9 realizes, they can actually go back in. Hani also had a double damage rune. Why is there so many DD for Fnatic this game? But at the start of the fight, he had a DD, so taking that fight almost would have been suicidal. Yeah. And speaking of hearts, Hani's got one too, so these carries are just getting so damn tanky. And we're going to need to see some big damage item from Envy, as well as a second Hex on Sing Sing.
Oh, he basically just needs all the pop, but Envy needs to survive too. AM throws the ulti out, but that's nowhere near enough damage. And he replicates himself back in towards the middle lane, but knowing that Envy is injured, Era and No-Tel and Fly, they all go inside the pip. They're going to quickly try and snipe out Roshan.
Is there any going to be Sunstrike checks? There's nothing, because top lane, Hani's applying pressure, and I think it's going to be free Roshan. This is really ballsy play from Fnatic, because all AUI needs to do is pop a song, walk in, and take the Aegis.
But he doesn't have it. It's on cooldown for 50 seconds, and they know that because of the top lane.
The top, yeah. Fnatic's playing this really well. They're just basically splitting up Cloud9. Cloud9 could only be at so many places at once. They don't have relocate. They don't have a Prophet TP. They're
going to keep him distracted top lane. Watch Envy. He's coming up right now, but they're still got the problem with the Lincoln Sphere.
He does not have a replicate though, so if the mana's burned...
Oh, they try to. Sing Sing turns in for an EMP Tornado, but there's no real AMs left here to fight. And in the meantime, Aegis Immortal is taken. So Era now has his extra safety net, and he buys up the Hyperstone. So the AC is on the way. But this guy, for Anti-Mage who has 325 CS, this Tiny has caught up so much. He is only 300 net worth behind that of the Anti-Mage.
I mean, Era, we've been saying that, he's getting help from No-Tel, but he's been in all the fights that he needs to be in. I think the only kind of mistake that he's made so far was No-Tel ditching him earlier in that fight, and he lost the Aegis, but that doesn't matter because it was an Aegis. And here comes Bone 7. He wants to jump in.
You be careful, Bone 7. That doesn't work that way, man. Hani went in as well. Luckily, he's able to phase shift and blink himself away to safety while Era finishes off the tower, the Courier, the Red Hawk. Well, I suppose there's enough of them in the world. They could just die in the middle lane as well. Thanks, Val, for giving away too many of those. Era, Cole snapped up. They got to try and keep him alive. Trixie with the stuns, keeping the Naga illusions off. And now they turn Pylite die. Dagon, the Naga sleep with the toss. It still completes the one range creep. Basically squats Pylite die into the ground. There were buybacks coming out as well. We had one coming out from the Wisp. That's why No-Tel relocated back in here again. He's not going to drag Era out this fight. They may consider going high ground here, but Sing Sing's going to make it very difficult. And maybe even Bone 7 too. Jumping out ballsily in front of that big-ass Tiny.
I think removing Tiny's mana is a good way to start, but does he actually need mana?
No!
He's gonna come up and just hit your damn tower.
He's gonna Aegis the Immortal. Why would he care? Trixie, however, may have a little bit more to care about. He's down a half-life, but the heal comes out from Fly, and the AC's arrived. Look at him just tank up the E-Blade. So we're talking about there needs to be more damage coming out from C9, and they don't have a physical damager. There's no physical DPS coming out from Fnatic, really. I mean, from C9.
This is 5v4. Look at Hani. He's just like raxing the top lane by himself. They gotta deal with him as well. He gets forced to blink back, and Envy, he's got the shotgun, well, not exactly loaded up, but this AM could blink in and pop his Manta and force Envy to go back as well. C9's gotta hold this. They have no glyph. They have no song. They have 1 Hex available on the puck, and that's pretty much it. I'm not sure how the hell they're gonna hold this.
They can't hold this, man. They can't hold. AM and Tiny will just split push, keep the pressure on, fly, shallow grave, 3 life points. At least now they'll get themselves a kill, but no! Envy! He gets stunned up by Trixie. The Hex will go over on the Nyx Assassin. Spike Carrot is still available, so they'll get a follow-up stun. And now they tether in. The Tornado from Sing Sing buys a little bit of space, but they've lost the Crystal Maiden, trying to cleave down with the Necro units to pick up the retreating Sing Sing. But it's not going to happen. Fnatic actually don't lose a single hero after what appeared to be an easy kill. They had a Dazzle at 3 life points, man.
Man, Dazzle Grave. He's always at 3 life point, let's be real.
Oh, and now Era just does it solo. Adaptive Strike will slow him for a moment, but that's it. And Notel will just give Era... Look at the attack speed increase as well. And Notel's even walking around with a DD rune. And the world is against C9 right now. They're losing top ranks. Harney's taking out the melee racks up there. Era's pounding on the middle lane. They're going to try and at least focus on Harney and bring him down. But with the Hex... The extra follow-up stun from Trixie, Bone 70 so low on life, and there's your strike. Finally, they get 1 kill over the Nyx Assassin, but the mid-rack's completely gone. And Era, he's just doing the bottom. Just swinging through it. Yep.
Top lane, Hyani comes back. He's going to go for the Mega Creeps, but I don't think C9 has enough lane game to deal with that as well. GG gets caught by Envy. What a game from Fnatic.
This just shows you, for all your farm you've got, how ineffective it is when you're getting pushed and poked and prodded across multiple parts of this map. There was just nothing C9 could do. Even if they wanted a 5-man fight, they couldn't take it because they would die. And then Fnatic did a split push on them, and they still couldn't kill anybody off. Nyx Assassin, he was like, from the moment they initiated on the Dazzle, Nyx Assassin was the only person who died after that point.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's the Vlads from the Anti-Mage, it's the double heart, and it's like the timing push you talked about. They're gonna win the game in the next 10 minutes. They put the, the gas, what was it? Metal to the pedal, is that a phrase? I think that's a phrase, and then they just win.
The pedal to the metal.
Pedal to the metal, and they had Aegis on backup, and I didn't even see a Grave on the carries because they never needed it. They're so tanky.
The Graves was being used selfishly the entire time. I still love the fact that Fly was a 0 for 3 man. But that's going to wrap up game number 1. So the 1-game advantage went to C9 because Fnatic turned up late, but when they arrived at the party, it was fashionably late. So we're going to be drawn up here in the best-of-5 game. C9 going up against Fnatic. The winner of this will get into the semi-final of the D2CL where they'll face up against Team Empire. Na'Vi vs Alliance will also be coming up later on in the week. That is the other semi-final already confirmed. So stay tuned. There's more action for the D2CL coming your way in just a couple of moments' time.